Alright, so I've been playing a little bit of Great Battles of History, Volume 4. And this is an old game. This is from, what, 1994. Put in perspective, I graduated from high school when this game was due in print. And I'm actually using one of the battles from the Dictator expansion. This is the Battle of Chaeronea, and this is an expansion from 1995 that I was able to acquire some time back. I have all the GBOH stuff. I know we're using the Pharsalus map, but it's the Battle of Chaeronea against the Pontic army of Mithridates and the Roman army of Cornelius Sulla. Lucius Cornelius Sulla. And Sulla's got 5 veteran legions. They're all in a depleted status, meaning they're a little more fragile when it comes to rallying them. They're not quite as effective in missile fire. And so far, haven't been able to get the section commands to work properly for Sulla due to some freak die roll results. We've had a die roll of doom. Getting ready to start turn 3 here, by the way. We've had a die roll of doom that terminated a game turn early, and he whiffed on his attempt to get a section command effectively in his last turn. So 2 of his legions have not been engaged. 2 most heavily engaged legions are the 10th and the 13th, and which legion? The 3rd legion over on his right flank. There's a reserve of 5 cohorts on his right and 5 cohorts on his left. The left has been refused because there's a substantial body of Pontic cavalry. And if the Pontine army is going to win, it's going to be with their cavalry on the right. But so far, this is not a done deal. And meanwhile, the 13th Legion is carving its way through the junction next to the phalanx. And if they break through this entirely, then that's going to be it. The Pontine army will collapse pretty short order after that because they can just roll up that phalanx. So, and that's pretty much what is about to happen. The Pontine army is unlikely to win this battle, but they're putting up a pretty good scrap. They had turned the flank of Cornelius Sulla over on his right and caused some havoc there with the 3rd Legion, but they only managed to rout 1 cohort before the tables got turned on them. Use of the Scorpiones was pretty effective, and then a counterattack ensued, and so pretty much half of the medium infantry have been routed back. In the center, the heavy infantry here of Mithridates are falling back, and they're just giving ground slowly. His right wing light infantry are not of quality, but they've kind of pinned down the 10th Legion, just trying to hold them in place. Cataphractic cavalry can't close with the Roman cavalry, so the Roman cavalry, that's a class in the game, and the lancers here of the Pontine army have closed with the Roman cavalry and lancers of Cornelius Sulla. Some of them got around the cohorts here of the reserve, and one of them was sent packing. Another one is very close to routing. 1 cavalry did rout, another one was rallied. The Pontines are likely to cause some serious damage to the Roman army here, but it's probably not going to be enough to offset what's happening here in the strategic middle. Let's talk about the chariots. Chariots, you have the opportunity to use them like auxiliaries. You can use them, they're not a part of a formation per se, but the way they work, they're what do you call them, scythe chariots, and they do have javelins in them. But if you try to attack with them with shock combat, you're probably going to lose the troop quality check because you only got a quality of rating of 3. If they do shock, they're going to cause some serious damage to whoever they hit, but the Romans have an 80% chance or better of stepping aside and allowing them to pass through, which means these things are absolutely useless on the attack under normal circumstances. So I'm thinking as a game player, why use them offensively in the first place? Why not use them defensively? Because I really don't want him engaging my phalanx. I don't intend to use the phalanx offensively, so why not just let them sit back and make the Romans come through that while I go to work on the Roman left wing? So that's pretty much the strategy I've adopted, and that's been effective because it chewed up some of the cohorts here of the 10th and the 13th to try to get through those chariots to get to the heavy infantry, and then counterattacks from the heavy infantry and light infantry sent a few guys packing. Over on the left, the Pontine left, Roman right, things are probably going to disintegrate. The Pontine leaders are terrible. They have a range of like 2. So these guys got a huge army, but they can't control it, is the primary problem that you face. They don't necessarily have bad or even inappropriate troops to defeat this army. If they had better leaders, I think this would be a really, really tight contest. But they don't have good leaders to command this army, and that's the problem you're going to run into as the player, is learning how to control this big army with these crummy leaders. So you have some pretty good light infantry on your left, as well as some mediocre but large medium infantry formations. The medium infantry, they're going to act a lot like the barbarian infantry in Caesar against the Gauls. So that is to say, they're not going to be able to make a stand-up fight, but they're going to have to keep honest, and they don't dare attack this large force because they're going to get surrounded. They don't have the numbers to engage them directly. So it's basically just kind of a little bit of counter maneuver happening here. The Romans have a little bit of cavalry, and so what they've been doing is running around trying to chase off the skirmishers in order to get at the flanks and start chipping away at these light infantry, and basically keep this body of troops from exploiting the open flank here, as it were, of the Roman army. So that's just a quick look at this particular game. Now, in terms of what makes this game different from other GBOH games, what makes the core game different, this is up on P500, by the way, with all the expansions. It's a killer deal. $69 for all of the battles that was made for Caesar, Dictator, Veni Vidi Vici expansion, and half of the Jugurtha expansion. What makes this one different is there's some pretty interesting command rules to command legions. The legions are more flexible than SPQR. The command system is pretty robust, but learning how to use that effectively against another army that typically will have legions in the Civil War, that is a very, very interesting situation. So definitely should check it out. By the way, also that P500 item also includes Caesar versus Gaul and all of its expansions in that P500 product. So definitely should check that out from GMT. That is a really cool deluxe package. So I'll keep playing this one for a little while. I've also got I was hoping to do another video of Next War Vietnam. I've had that on my virtual table for a while, but I haven't done a video. So we'll have to throw one of those up here next.